Let's give that a shot. Maybe we're gonna work. Still, yeesh. But that's about 10% better than it was before. So, flour tortilla better. Yes, it's better. Thank you. Thank you. Which, just lard, flour. Oops, not leaving that in there. And a bit of water, but I'm going to work this fat into the dough before I add in the flour. Aw, man. I'm just realizing that I didn't rewrite my dinner command. So don't do my dinner command, it's wrong. It's from Sunday. What we're going to be doing today is quesadillas with chicken that I'm going to simmer on the stove. Going to use the dark meat on this chicken and make quesadillas with that. Obviously making my own tortillas for that, and maybe a margarita or two while we're at it. Okay, now that we got all that fat worked into the flour, let's try this. Oops. Snowball. It's not a snowball. Mango. And just water here to combine. This is just normal AP flour. Gonna keep using that bowl. I'm just setting it to the side for the moment. All purpose. Serve generic flour here in the US. I don't know if there's different I certainly know there's different types of flour, but I don't know how if they classify them differently in different countries. Something to look into. Okay. Just basically getting this to come together here. And gonna let this rust in the fridge now. Yeah, I don't know how generally what we have in the US and what I'm sure AP flour is a harder wheat that's been stripped of the bran and all the good stuff out of it. So you can put it in all your muffins and generic foods, as far as U.S. types of muffins and foods. Don't generally have a lot of soft wheat sold in the U.S. Typically, you have soft wheat sold, which is entirely different. I mean, it's a different plant, but it's still wheat. Is generally sold just as our biscuits, not UK biscuits. And we'll use that for biscuits, we'll use it for pies, that sort of thing. Board may look a little bit darker today because I gave it a good oiling over my weekend. It's been a while since I gave my board a good oiling, so it was in desperate need. No, I like my big board. I don't really think of this as a big board, to be honest, though. I think this is about proper size. I think most people work with boards that are entirely too small. Which I understand. It's I mean, you gotta move it around to clean it up and yada yada yada. If you're not a big time cooking all the time, you don't want it on the counter taking up space. For me, it's just sort of a fixture on my table here. Yeah, biscuits. Your biscuits are more like what Americans would think of a shortbread cookie, or they're not. But I mean, it's about the closest thing I can. That or a graham cracker sort of base. Yeah, it needs to be sharpened, actually, I think. A lot of it's just knowing where the joints are. Pop the joint, find out where the good meat here is on the back. Make sure and get all that good stuff. I was really meaning the oyster, not this up here. Oh, come on. Nice. Like many things on my stream here, breaking down a whole pig is actually not something that I've done. I've done broken down lambs, I've broken down just about everything else, but Parsons? Not even sure what you're referring to right there. Clean that up after I take it off. Little chip of bone there. Then, good for stock. Not familiar with that piece. Let's see, I mean, this whole bird, I mean, part of that video that was playing during the intro, I mean, 40s, 50s, maybe even early 60s, we basically redesigned what chickens were. One of the guys at the farmer's market used to always pull the joke on people that, you know, he used to go out duck hunting all the time, and he'd be like, he'd pull up a sack of dead chickens, like, yeah, we went chicken hunting last night. Like, when's the last time you actually went chicken hunting? Okay. This can go in a bag for laters, along with those giant wings. Yeah, it's trying to squeeze as much air here out as I can without filling my sink full of water. Just gonna use this for stock, so it's not the end of the world if it gets a little frostbite. Or rather, I should say we redesigned them. I mean, we designed them to begin with for eggs. We redesigned them and redesigned them in the 40s, 50s, and maybe early 60s. I'm not quite sure the full time period there, but for meat. All boils down to past wars. Our food supply is mostly been dominated by, in the U.S. at least, by the world wars and making sure that we have food to feed our people, which is a good thing, but it doesn't help when modern society makes it much easier. Okay, so we're going to use these guys for tonight. What else am I going to throw in here with our meat? Let's do a little onion. Yeah, let's do. I have yellow onion too. Yeah, what am I going to put in these when this has been sitting here going wrinkly, waiting for me to use it for this dinner? Ooh, flying onions. Just clean the counter before starting the stream, so I'm trusting that. Oh, it would have helped if I looked to see if there's a sticker on that thing. Pretty sure I cleaned both of those when I brought them in, both that and the avocado. In fact, I know I did now that I think about it. Couple chickens on the lamb. I have a 200, 400, 600, and a falling stack of cups that I really should probably get rid of. I have this guy that I use for just quick touch-ups, which is just 2 carbons. They have the traditional one that I got from my college that I really only use when I got a chip or a nick, because even the fine side on this guy is too rough. And then I've got a whetstone, which I believe this is a 2000, but it's been, you know, it's just rough fine to me these days. Towel that I've been using for that for ages, and but it's been a minute, and this guy I've had since this was my school issued knife, so it's seen some rough sharpenings over the years. And it's more of my lack of a memory. I should know what grit that is, because it does sort of matter. No. I do have a steel though. This guy needs to go though too, because he's gotten too dirty and oily, and you get gunk in between the veins, and it doesn't matter if it's a diamond or not. Got that out, might as well use it. See, that doesn't even sound right when I'm stealing it. It's still, this really needs to be cleaned up. Thank you for the auto host, E-Wizard. I just assumed that was E-Wizard because it came with a whisper. So, busy week coming up here, not only with the half pig on. Thank you for the host class, Inco. Not only do I have pig on Saturday, so I'm doing streaming Friday, Saturday, and all day on Sunday. Yeah. But I'm going to be in creative sometime next week, too. So, I think I'm going to save the chicken breast for another project at a later date. Do I want to leave it a surprise? It's nothing anyone should be worried about. I haven't seen anyone on the platform doing it. That should raise the intrigue a little bit. I think I'm going to put them in a bag and save them for later. No, I'm going to do all that in food and drink. I mean, it's all going to be food related. Finish this bottle yet? Nope. These are still a little bit wet, so I'm going to use a little paper towel here to dry them off. Yeah, I could. Now, it's sort of like really trying to do pretty much everything in food and drink, at least along with my stream in food and drink that fits in food and drink, because yeah, I understand people wanting to go into other categories to get a couple extra viewers. I actually got into it with someone about this earlier in a different channel. I mean, people complain that food and drink is a dead channel. I mean, the people that want to do food and cooking here on Mixer, and then they go off, and we even have partners doing food and drink, and they're doing it off in Web Show or wherever else, IRL. And that just doesn't help the idea of there being a food and drink category. So what I was getting into with someone else was a new person to a channel that I watch, or a stream that I watch regularly, came in and said, well, hey, you should be doing this over there. So everyone else in chat was like, who are you? Let's start by searing these thighs, add the veggies, add liquid, simmer. Why am I grabbing the garlic? But it's these that I'm searing. Salt on our chicken. Salt, 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 salt. Nice. I've been sort of watching some of King Gotham lately, and he's been playing. He's changed it up since then, but he was playing a bunch of Fallout 76, and I was enjoying that. Nice. I think I streamed for the better part of 3 or 4 months before I had 5 viewers. Thank you for the host, auto-host artifact. Pretty good game, at least from what I was watching. I haven't played it. I just can't get into games anymore. I got into playing it for a little bit there, but I just sit down and I just think of all the other things that I need to do that'll actually accomplish something in my life. The Battle Royale seems interesting. I like the fact that they tied it into the rest of the game. Yeah. A couple of games are interesting. I mean, I used to play CS back in the day before CS got hard. And so I'm sort of intrigued by Valorant too, but I'm not going to end up probably playing either of them because also part of it is I can, along with that wanting to do other things and get things accomplished, I never really feel like I have the ability to dedicate enough time to be serious about a game. stuff. I've seen a number of creative streamers just sort of slowly creep into doing more and more and more and more games, and then their stream sort of becomes nothing but games. I think a lot of people feel sort of pushed into doing gaming because that's really where all the ad revenue is right now in streaming. I'm doing what I'm enjoying doing. I'm not really out to be the next ninja, so would love it if people watch. I mean, I realize that also behind all those big names here in streaming, you've got ad companies and management companies behind them pushing them, and it's a small crowd. You're gonna have to do some fighting, and I'm just not even. I don't got the time. Make sure I don't set off my smoke alarm. But just a warning to all you culinary people out there that maybe some of you realize this, some of you know this, but the whole thing of food shortages and things costing way too stupid much is just starting. Had a friend in Connecticut, Northeast, post some pictures from Stu Leonard's of green bell peppers for $5 a pound, conventional. Ooh yeah. Yeah. That's what we want right there. Yeah. So, yeah. They're saying 40 to 50% of restaurants. You got to consider how many small family farms and stuff are doing niche produce and sprouts and miniature this and that for all these restaurants. They're all out of business unless they've got money to just start up again. now you can choose between having a bell pepper conventionally grown or, Subway sub. That's going to be great for our house. Why did I put that there? The idea here is these are all going to get cooked down into basically the liquid sauce here. So we're not too worried that the peppers are a little too large than you'd want to chomp onto. And chicken stock cubes, ice cubes, or chicken stock if you got it in your fridge. Just chicken stock formed into an ice cube tray. And add a whole bunch of these guys. Sort of trying to use these up right now. Almost to the point where I need to do chicken stock too. Might do stock 2 weekends in a row here. It's one heck of a chunk. Beef has gone up a lot, and meat was the first thing, but after Trump signed executive orders protecting that, they're all being forced to continue operations. So meat is going to probably return to normal pretty quickly. What we're now having is realizations that all of our migrant workers are sick. And they're all going to work sick because they need to keep working. And so that's going to drive all of our conventional ag prices up. If you Google it, you can probably find the art. Not you, shut up. If you look for it online, you can find it. There was a farm, I think it was in Washington, that decided to test their employees, and they had 100%. Every single person in the entire place was infected. Thank you for the host, Mrs. Toggs. So let's add some spices to this so that it actually tastes a bit words, Jason. Tastes a bit Mexican. Add a bit of my 2 chili powders here. Sort of shooting for where the sauce will eventually be so they all make it into the liquid. And that was a New Mexico chili. This is ancho, or pasilla ancho. I like this one just because of how it looks. I've said this a couple of times, but that's just a cool looking spice. I don't know if it's zooming in properly or not for you, but Just cool looking stuff. Catches the light easily. Yeah, it's gonna be really bad now. Do I want to do smoked paprika? Yeah, why not? Onion powder. Garlic powder. Not that much garlic powder because I put quite a bit of garlic in there. No bird's eye, no nutmeg, no caraway, no coriander. Nah. What's in this seasoning that I bought the other day? No. Not a ton of spices that I can throw in there easily. Do this properly. Need to up my Mexican spice game here. I like putting time in just about everything. Makes everything taste like I've been cooking it forever. How you doing, Trigger? What's new tonight? What's eating your grape? Aw. Study time again? Ooh. I used to get migraines when I was younger. I seems to have moved largely out of them, but yeah. Migraines are not fun. Yeesh. Yeah. Sort of make you just want to curl up in a ball and not look at anything. You don't want light in your eye. You don't want to hear anything. So thanks for watching my stream. Yeesh. Yeah, I gotta keep that time schedule on right for the work. Yep. For those that don't get migraines, they're a little bit like a serious hangover. you want to just close your eyes and let the world go away, but the reality is you close your eyes and the world's spinning. We're doing Operation Keep Kitchen Clean tonight, especially with everything coming up here, because as it is, I've already started shifting things around here. I usually keep a bunch of crap between the camera and me here, and I've moved some of that away so that I can get at my new freezer right here. I have a new freezer right there. Right there. If you look at my Discord, there's a picture on my Instagram too. But, big giant freezer that I bought to hold all the meat, all my meat. The hog is Saturday at 4:30. Normal start time just on Saturday instead of Friday or Sunday. And then Sunday I'm going to be starting noonish. Don't know exact time. But going to be doing stock pretty much all day from all the pork bones and all that good stuff left over from that. Going to be rendering fat from all the leftover cutoff. Yeah, I'm going to be pulling out the big... You guys haven't seen my big pots. I might be pulling out some of the big pots. My biggest pot here could probably fit half of the pig in it. So stock, rendering fat, which not very interesting in real life, but might sort of cool to sit there and watch it dissolve on video a while. And it's not here. And lastly, going to be curing bacon, or at least starting to cure on the bacon. And I'm going to have a full half side of bacon. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut that into 3 and do 2 bacons, and then leave the third part for maybe some pork belly dinners or something along that line. I know the wine industry is all about it. Wine industry wants to be in the CBD world. Forgetting the name of it, but like most industries these days, wine is consolidated. Even though there's all these small little vineyards all over the place here in Sonoma, the vast majority of them are owned by a company that are owned by a company that are owned by, I think it's about 5 big major players. And one of those big 5 ones, I want to say Constellation Brands, I'm pretty sure it is. But that's off the top of my head. Big winemaker, they're in the distillery world as well, and they are definitely jumping feet first into CBD drink world too. I haven't been doing that so much here the last couple of weeks. Last couple of weeks here, I've actually been sort of focusing on trying to get my auto host with a decent list of people to regularly view. And but normally I'm up in the morning watching business news and, reading about that sort of stuff. So that's already thickening up nicely there. I think it's time for a margarita. So I'll pull out my Johnny Walker glass. Nice, thank you, Skip. Let's see here. Ooh, do I have simple syrup? I do. I want to check that on my phone. It's next Monday. Okay. And lime. Turn that down a little bit. What's fancy? My butt plug juicer? It seems to come up every time that I bring this thing out, so I mean... big fan of them myself. But that's one of them that I got. This is another one. Ounce of simple syrup. Oh, hey, another unitasker. I went and cut up that lime and didn't juice the rim of my glass. Little Grand Marnier. Oops, wrong side. Bigger side for this one. No, what I think I'm going to do is that right there. Just put a little tequila on the edge. Probably not very sanitary, definitely not legal as far as beer bartending, but for me at home, it didn't work for that either. There we go, that's a little bit better. You can throw both of those in there since sorry, cheers everyone. I got my Surf Safe in bartending, probably almost 15 years ago now. Oh, I'm old. So it's obviously out of date, but I made great use of it too, so. Are you in the States, Trigger? Sitting here wondering if you're thinking about the same thing I'm thinking about when you say bar license. Yum, yum, yum. I like those so much better when I make them at home. Well, it depends on which serve safe you're talking about. If you're talking, there's a There's an alcohol management one, yeah. And it's probably 18 because I know in certain states you can be 18 and serve alcohol even though you're not able to drink it. Oh, hey, there's an idea. That's how we can make this a little bit more Mexican. Let's put some non-Mexican together. Pretty sure Hornitos is Mexican. By the way, you should never do that. That was a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have done that. You should never pour directly from an alcohol or a liquor bottle to something on a flame. The sanitation one should be good for 5 years, so. I took that one, I think, last in 2015. Actually, when did I take that last one? Because that means it's basically up now. Oh well, I'll look that up some other time. Okay, back to rolling. I'm gonna add some more liquid to this too. Just some more water. Keep it. It's dehydrating a bit too much for me. Let's see. I think that's good for 6. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. So we got our rusted dough here. I'm gonna sort of ball these up, and then roll them flat. Yes, everyone. That's not me going bald. That's gray. However it is, I can stand so you can see my head. Yeah, that's actually something I've sort of picked up here since I started streaming. I never made flour tortillas at home beforehand. Need a bit more dust and flour. These may be a bit smaller than I wanted here. They're also sticking a bit more than I wanted, but oh, there we go. I wish I had a proper press for them, but I don't really want to invest in that because it's also a unitasker and it's takes up a lot of space. I also have no real interest. I don't really like corn tortillas, to be honest about it. I don't really like the texture that they make. Even though they are, without question, the more traditional. Yeah, these are a bit smaller than I was thinking here. Might do 2 of these for the next one. Sweeping the table is, I know that is generally a no-no in the baking world, but I'm doing it anyways. Which is when you move the dough around in order to try and get other flour you have on the table instead of just properly flouring your counter. Thanks, Trigger. Hope you have a good time with your friends. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you guys even stopping in. Yeah, this one needs 2 of them. Having to pinch them together into sort of a ball here in order to keep them together after I cut them. Trying to watch chat and roll at the same time just doesn't seem to work too well. Lard, flour, water. I probably should have put a little baking powder in there. little baking powder give us a little bit more puff, a little bit more bubbly action. And actually, it's a pretty simple, just a tablespoon of lard to a cup of flour. And then just enough water to sort of let everything come together, make it workable for you. And then you don't really want to work it too much. You do want to just basically have the dough all come together so that at this point you're not getting flour bubbles or anything after it's rested. But yeah, I should have combined these last two too, I think. Yeah, we have self-rising too. It's typically just AP with, well, they'll sell self-rising biscuit dough too. So I guess they got them both. I generally don't bother. Because I already have baking powder and baking soda in the house. I can sort of see it if you're bachelor, new into cooking, that sort of a thing. Makes life a little bit easier. But no, this is just plain old regular AP flour. That guy's pretty thin now. You can see how thin he is even on there. How dark you can see the table through it. But what I bought was I bought a giant bag of flour right when quarantine hit, and it took me a little while to get it. But I grabbed a 40-pound sack of AP flour, which I'm calling AP flour, but it's a generic flour that's got a bit more malt to it, so that it's got a bit more. It'll give you a bit more color, and it's organic. Yeah, just a little bit of flour. I still got the paper sack around here with the last, like, tenth of it waiting to go in here. I've got another, I think it's a 5-gallon or a 6-gallon. 22 quarts, that'll do better for you. I have a 22 quart container of, or 20-liter container of flour waiting to be used after I get done with this guy. Well, I knew it was going to be out for a while after people started panic buying it, and I was lucky enough to know where my distributor was to go and get it straight from the distributor because it's where I was already buying my flour. But like some of the supermarkets are starting to somewhat catch up. I went out on last Friday, and last Friday I went to a chain supermarket, but it's still a local supermarket. They've only got, I think they've got 4 stores, 4 stores, and they were selling quart containers of flour that they had broken down from probably 40-pound bags. Probably the same exact stuff. This needs a bit more water again. Do I want to use that, or do I want to use my cast iron? Let's try using you. Okay. Done with the flour, done with the rolling pin. We do seem to have wheat flour or whole wheat, like baking flour and bread flour around, but that's generally the flours that you don't really see used a ton in American cuisine. American cuisine's all about that processed, super white, sugary flour. So I'm debating now if I want to cook my tortillas or do I want to strip my meat off of the bone. I think I'm going to strip the meat off the bone first. It depends. We have good bread too. It's just the vast majority of it and all of the cheap stuff is cheap stuff. Pull the big stems of thyme back out here. Probably could have thrown a bay leaf in there too, but I think that's looking pretty good as it is. Most Americans grow up on Wonder Bread peanut butter and jelly sandwiches from home at school. It's like what we grow up on, and so it is so much a part of. I mean, I really don't bake a ton of like white bread, but I love white bread every once in a blue moon for classic, comfort foods. I mean, that's not even getting into the Hawaiian sweet rolls, which that's an entirely different level. I'm sort of. I definitely like my sweet, but I'm also a absolute umami nut, so it's sort of an odd mix. I like everything, I guess. Because, I mean, this is a small board, and I'm trying to keep it on a small board here. Just breaking down the two legs here, I don't got enough space. I should have pulled out the big board again. Already fallen off. Obviously not being very careful about having pretty cubed meat here, but gonna throw this all back in with the sauce here and hope it continues to break down a little bit more. Though this is looking pretty beautiful as it is to me. That chicken was right on the money when I pulled that out of there. Still a little far away from you guys. Sorry, I don't have a great dual zoom setup going. But, yeah. That chicken's looking lovely to me. This pinkness is all just because it was close to the bone. That was all well cooked. All back in here. Clean the stove top off before I started the stream too, so while there's already oil spray on it, it was somewhat clean. No, unfortunately not. No insurance money. But we do have that chicken chopped up and back into the pan there. And And I think we will go to normal stove 3-way so that you guys can see me doing the tortillas here too. We got high flame going here, want to get this pan nice and warm. Got my spray oil out here, I got spray olive oil. Spray olive oil. Thank you for the follow, Dea. Well, that's what I can do while we're waiting on that. We need some cheese. We got a little yellow cheddar, little jack, Thank you, Glass. I think that'll handle it. For cheddar. Back in the same packaging, even though my hands were all over this, hopefully I'm not contaminating the cheese with anything all that much more extra. Definitely not contaminate it with anything that's here, because that way the packaging is still somewhat protecting the cheese from touching the bag. And it's sort of the best way I've found for keeping cheeses here. I mean, yeah, the best way is going to be you break out, you know, some expensive cheese paper and wrap it back up. But this seems to be the best method that I found for conventional cheeses to keep them precious longest without going fuzzy. And I'm not going to worry about cross-contaminating my cheddar and my Monterey. So much softer. I mean, just my hand there is squishing this cheese compared to the cheddar. Now it's just sort of a game of reducing this liquid down to the level that we want it for the quesadillas. It's already getting pretty thick there. That's nice and warm now. I forgot I left that on. Insta smoke. That's what we want. Olive oil being more of a 350 heat. So since I neglected the baking powder or baking soda in my tortillas, they are not going to bubble it all up nicely. They will nicely toast them. Although I am getting bubbles as it is even still. There we go, that's looking nice. Pop some of the big bubbles as they're coming up here. We like bubbles, but we don't want huge ones. It's gonna make it so it cooks unevenly. Big bubbles are fun if you're a kid, but they aren't great for cooking. There we go. I didn't get out my tortilla holder. That felt good. But nice first tortilla there. Back with a bit more oil because we added a bunch of flour to that pan. And in with another one. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit here. Since cast iron holds heat very well, you're going to have to learn and adjust to your own pan for that. Put this one in upside down compared to the other ones. We'll see if there's any real difference with that. The reason there might be a difference is because this side was on the counter. It's going to have a lot more moisture to it, whereas the other side was a lot drier. And sometimes even small things like that will mess you up. That's sort of the theme of the stream. So it fits well with this year too. We'll do this weird shaped guy for the end here. Oh, here. We gotta do that. It's the heart shaped one. Everything's heart shaped on streams. Ooh. A little loveliness at the bottom that I hadn't stirred up before. I don't know if you can see back there, but there's a big... You can't see back there. Got me some pink salt for that bacon, too. All right. Debating how I want to do this. Do I want to move this pan over here so that we can do this zoomed in for you guys? I think that's a good plan. Turn the heat back on over here on low. And got that going. Got our cheese loveliness here. Let's see, we got everything we're putting into this? I think so. I think we're ready. Do I want to do any cleanup here before I do final cleanup? Final work here. I think we can get rid of the flour and lard on the counter here. And I'm going to put all that cheese in a bowl. Okay, I think we're set. Quesadilla time. cheese on the outside too. Since these tortillas are basically done, we don't need to worry too long. We're just waiting for that cheese to caramelize and stick to the surface of it. Sorry for the loud noises. First one's always a bit ugly. Sorry about the sound again, it's best instrument for the job here. A little messy for the first one. We'll be good here though. Okay. There we go. Looking good there with our second one. Again, apologize for scraping noises. Need a wood spatula. That's what I need. Let's try one without the cheese on the outside here. Maybe make some nice contrast here. That one I'm gonna give it a second longer to cook through. don't hate me. Love me. um, the whole cheese on the outside thing, I was a little worried about it. It can be tricky with certain pans. You got to make sure you have a good non-stick surface for it. Being a nice cured cast iron pan there, that's what we got going here. Looks like just the perfect amount of meat here too. Gonna do all of these up, and I can refrigerate a couple of them up here for tomorrow. Thank you. Cheers to you too. Thanks for joining me. Not done yet though. Still got one more to go here. Our first boy. Last of our cheese here. This was a good, I mean, I ended up like perfect with everything here tonight. Exact amount of cheese I needed. Got just enough. We might have slightly too much meat here, but not that I'm complaining. Thanks for joining me, Glass. I'm just about wrapping it up here too. I'm only going to be a minute or two longer here to throw it on a plate cutesy with some avocado. So thank you for joining me. We'll save these guys for later. That's off. That's off. That's off. Yum. Oh. No bueno. No bueno. See, yeah, it's the whole thing. Darn it! I was going to use that for another meal too. Oh well. So maybe we'll throw a lime on there. A lime will look nice and pretty. And I can use that for the. Yeah, I can pull out a lime here, and you know, that's not gonna go to waste in my next drink, is it? Take some photos here for the Instagrams. Make sure we got the knife in there, so my name's in the photo. Awesome. So, thank you guys all for joining me. If you guys stuck around here to the end, I'd love it if you take a quick second and check out what's coming up here in July down there that I'm not mentioning on stream in the info section. As I said before, gonna be doing all sorts of stuff here coming up. Got steak and cheese subs here on Friday. Gonna be doing that with my own bread. I'm gonna be doing my own sub breads here on Friday. Saturday I'm gonna have a half peg here. Gonna be breaking all that down, and then Sunday I'm gonna be doing all the residual products off of that. As I said earlier, gonna be doing stock. Gonna be rendering fat. Gonna be curing bacon, all that good stuff. Would love it if you come and join me. And gonna be doing something in creative here next week too. So, anyways, thank you guys all for joining me. Hope you have a great night. I will find someone up to host here real quick and leave you with my slideshow in the meantime. Thanks and good night.